Long ago in the land of Egypt, great kings called pharaohs ruled. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs were gods on earth. When a pharaoh died, they needed a special place to rest for eternity. This resting place was a tomb, but not just any tomb. It had to be grand, safe, and built to last forever. So they built magnificent structures that we call pyramids. These pyramids were giant stone houses for the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. They were filled with treasures and everything the king would need in the next world. The shape of the pyramid was very important. It pointed to the sky, like a stairway to the heavens, helping the pharaoh's spirit ascend to join the gods. There are more than 100 pyramids in Egypt, standing like silent mountains in the desert. The most famous ones are at a place called Giza. The biggest of all is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for a pharaoh named Khufu over 4,500 years ago. This pyramid is enormous. It was once the tallest building in the world for thousands of years, standing almost 147 meters high. To build it, workers used more than 2 million huge stone blocks. Each block was incredibly heavy, with some weighing as much as a school bus. Imagine trying to build something so big and so heavy without the modern machines we have today. It was a massive project that required incredible planning and a lot of hard work. The pyramids were not just simple piles of stone. Inside, they had a complex network of tunnels, chambers, and secret passages. These were designed to protect the pharaoh's body and his treasures from robbers. The main room, called the burial chamber, was located deep inside the pyramid. This is where the pharaoh's mummy, a specially preserved body, was placed in a stone coffin called a sarcophagus. Everything was carefully sealed to keep it safe for all time. Building these structures was a national project, a sign of the pharaoh's power and the devotion of his people. They were a symbol of a great civilization. For many centuries, people have wondered about these amazing structures. How did the ancient Egyptians build them? Who were the people who did all the work? For a long time, many mysteries surrounded the pyramids. People thought maybe they were built by magic or even by visitors from other planets. But today, through careful study and new discoveries, archaeologists are piecing together the true story. We are learning that the Egyptians were brilliant engineers and organizers. They used their knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and the world around them to achieve one of the greatest building feats in all of human history, a true wonder of the ancient world. The first big challenge for the pyramid builders was getting the stone. The main body of the pyramids was made from limestone, which was often quarried right near the building site. But the outer casing, which made the pyramids smooth and white, was made from a special high-quality limestone from a place called Tura. The heavy granite used for the burial chambers came from even farther away, from a place called Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. Moving these giant blocks, some weighing up to 15 tons, was a huge task. The workers had to cut the stones from the rock using simple copper tools and then prepare them for a long journey. The ancient Egyptians were masters of using their environment to help them. Their greatest highway was the Nile River. For a long time, we knew they used boats to move the stones, but a recent discovery has shown us just how clever they were. In 2023, scientists found evidence of an old, forgotten branch of the Nile River that flowed right next to the Giza pyramids. This waterway is now buried under sand, but 4,500 years ago, it was a busy canal. This means that the workers could load the heavy stones onto large wooden boats and float them much closer to the construction site than we ever thought possible, saving a lot of effort. Once the stones arrived near the pyramid site, they still had to be moved across the land. The Egyptians did not have wheels for this kind of work. Instead, they placed the giant blocks on large wooden sleds. To make it easier to pull the heavy sleds across the desert sand, workers would pour water on the sand in front of the sled. This made the sand firm and reduced friction, allowing a team of men to haul the massive stones with ropes. This method was simple but very effective. We know this from ancient drawings that show workers doing exactly that. It shows how they used simple science to solve big problems. The entire operation was a masterpiece of logistics and organization. Hundreds of boats and thousands of workers were all part of this incredible supply chain. Detailed records written on ancient paper called papyrus have been found. These records are like logbooks from the workers. They tell us about the daily work, the food they were given, and how the stones were delivered. It shows that the project was not chaotic, but was carefully managed by the pharaoh's officials. Every step, from cutting the stone to floating it down the Nile and dragging it to the pyramid, was part of a grand and precise plan. After moving the stones to the base of the pyramid, the builders faced their next great challenge: how to lift them up. The pyramid grew taller with each layer of stone, so they needed a way to get the blocks to the very top. The most accepted idea for many years has been the use of ramps. Archaeologists believe workers built long, sloping ramps made of mud, brick, and rubble. Then, teams of workers would pull the heavy sleds carrying the stone blocks up these ramps. This would have been slow and difficult work, requiring immense strength and coordination from the workers as they hauled the blocks higher and higher. There are many different ideas about what these ramps looked like. Some experts think there was one long, straight ramp leading up one side of the pyramid. But as the pyramid got taller, this ramp would have needed to be incredibly long, perhaps over a mile. Other experts suggest that a more efficient ramp would spiral around the outside of the pyramid, like a road climbing up a mountain. Another idea is that there were multiple smaller ramps on all four sides. A recent discovery in a stone quarry at Hatnub showed a ramp that was much steeper than we thought was possible, which might mean the ramps used for the pyramids were shorter and easier to build. But now, a very new and exciting theory has emerged in 2025. Some researchers believe the ancient Egyptians may have also used water to help lift the stones, especially for the earlier step pyramid of Djoser. This idea suggests they built a clever hydraulic system. They might have used a central shaft inside the pyramid and a system of canals and gates to create water pressure. This pressure could have helped to push or float the heavy blocks upwards, almost like a water-powered elevator. This would have been an incredible feat of engineering for its time, showing a deep understanding of physics and water management. This water power theory is supported by the environment of ancient Egypt. Thousands of years ago, the climate was wetter, and managing floodwater from the Nile was a major concern. Archaeologists have found large structures near the pyramids that look like dams and water basins. These could have been used to control water flow and provide clean water for a hydraulic lift system. While this theory is still being debated by experts, it opens up a fascinating possibility. It suggests the ancient Egyptians might have been even more technologically advanced than we ever imagined, using the power of water to help them build their monuments to the gods. For many years, people mistakenly believed the pyramids were built by slaves who were forced to work under terrible conditions. However, we now know that this is not true. The pyramids were built by skilled Egyptian workers who were well organized and respected for their craft. Discoveries of ancient papyrus documents, like the diary of a man named Merer, give us a detailed look into the lives of these builders. These were logbooks that recorded the daily work, proving it was a state-funded project with a paid labor force. The workers were divided into teams with leaders, and they were proud of their work on the pharaoh's tomb. The workers did not just show up for the day and go home. The pharaoh provided for them. Archaeologists have excavated the remains of a large, well-planned village right next to the Giza pyramids. This is where the workers lived. In this village, they have found bakeries that could produce thousands of loaves of bread each day, as well as facilities for processing fish and meat. The workers received food, shelter, and medical care. Skeletons found in the workers' cemetery show that they had healed broken bones, which means they had access to doctors. They were a valued part of a massive national project, not an oppressed workforce. Even with all our modern knowledge, the pyramids still hold many secrets. Today, scientists are using amazing technology to look inside the pyramids without damaging them. A project called Scan Pyramids uses a special kind of imaging, similar to an X-ray, to detect hidden spaces. In 2017, this project discovered a huge, mysterious empty space inside the Great Pyramid, which they called the Big Void. No one knows for sure what it is. It might be a hidden chamber, or it might be a clever engineering feature designed to reduce the weight on the rooms below. This shows that there is still so much to learn. The pyramids of Egypt are more than just old buildings. They are a testament to human ingenuity, organization, and belief. They show us what people can achieve when they work together towards a common goal. Building these monuments required incredible knowledge of mathematics, engineering, and astronomy. They have stood for over 4,500 years, surviving the harsh desert climate and the passage of time. They continue to inspire awe and wonder in everyone who sees them, reminding us of the incredible achievements of the ancient Egyptian civilization and the enduring mysteries that they left for us to solve.